Hi, what's popping, guys? Hopefully everyone's keeping well. So in today's video, I'm going to go straight into things and I'm going to show you how to catch the falling knife. That is GPUSD, gold, DXY absolutely soaring. We're seeing new record lows and highs being made across the board, and this literally means there's so much money to be made. But when you have pairs absolutely falling a lot of time, they're not giving you entry opportunities on time frames such as the higher time frame. What it leads us to is actually going down to the lower time frame, such as the 1 minute time frame, 5 minute time frame, and trading off of those time frames, which can give us some incredible results. So I'm going to show you this beautiful sell that I was able to catch, and I also called it out to the team last week. So this is a beautiful sell on GPUSD, and I'm going to break it down to you. So one of the first things that you want to look at obviously is the fundamentals. Okay, the fact I predicted this move was going to happen, before it happened, and that is literally indicative by the fact that I was able to hold this whole sell even though there was no liquidity to the left. A big move like this was very you basically could have seen it coming, for the simple fact is that if you look at FOMC Wednesday, what happened, if you look at Thursday as well with the BOE, what happened, we got interest rate hikes, okay, and fairly substantial ones at that. And when you get something like that, what do you expect? You expect the DXY to strengthen. Okay, you expect the DXY to strengthen. As you can see, that's exactly what happened, and should continue to rise, which gives us this right here. Okay, so this is one of the first things that I look at, the fundamentals. And I ignored the kind of the news event itself. A lot of time I don't really care about trading the news event itself, but what I will do is trade the aftermath. This is exactly what happened. So I'm going to show you really quickly my thought process behind the GBPUSD sell. So of course I was selling, and one of the first things that I always look for is my areas of liquidity. These are the magnetic areas that we look for to be manipulated before looking at some sort of reversal. Okay, so as you can see, we've had a fairly decent area of liquidity right here. Okay, major area of liquidity sitting above these highs. Okay, so you can see in the form of a triple top or resistance, whatever you want to call it. So you have that liquidity. And what happened right here, very interesting. Okay, and this was, by the way, the news event on Thursday. Okay, the BOE rate hikes. What do we have right here? Beautiful move where I explained this exact scenario in my last video. So if you haven't watched it, make sure to go and watch that last video where I discussed how before we look for a reversal, okay, we want to see that liquidity clearance, and a lot of the time, okay, well, most of the time for that strategy, we do not want to see price close above the wick, which it's exactly done just that. It has not closed above the wick. Straight after the liquidity purge that we got right here to the left, what do we have? Very strong bearish momentum to the downside. Okay, and we end up breaking the structure right here. So we end up seeing this low right here. This internal liquidity broke. So what do I look for? I look for a retracement back into the institutional candle and look for a sell. Okay, this is something that you probably notice at this point, especially if you have some sort of experience with smart money. You know this. We look for the institutional candle, etc. Now, how could I refine this a bit better to get a better entry and to get a smaller stop loss? So as you can see, this would have been my RR, and I was targeting this low right here. Okay, so this is where I would have taken out most of my position. Okay, and because I would have had no lows, let's be realistic, because I would have had no lows right here, the only part of my position that I would have left to ride out this whole move would have been 30%. So this is exactly what I've done right here. Okay, 30% of my move, and I believe I took it out around right there. Okay, so I capitalized on this much of the move, and unfortunately I missed this, but that's completely fine because I will look for a re-entry at the start of the week to keep short in GBPUSD. So this is my entry. Okay, this was around my entry, this was my stop loss, and this was my take profit. Now let me show you my true entry though, because the beautiful thing about this is I can refine this even more if I drop down to the 1 minute time frame. So when I drop down to the 1 minute time frame, what do I take a look at? I take a look at this whole range as a whole, and what do I like to do? I like to use my fib to identify my zones of premium and discount, and this was my premium levels. These are the expensive areas that you want to be looking for sells. And straight away what sticks out to me like a sore thumb is this inefficient price action right here. Right there, you can see that inefficient price action. This is my imbalance right here, and I'll mark this out with yellow, and I'll drag this just like so. Okay. So that was my inefficient price action. Now, what do I want to do? I want to go back to that 1 minute time frame imbalance. I don't know why I went to the 10-minute there for a second. And where do we look for the entry of the imbalance entries? We look at the 50% of the imbalance. And this is something, by the way, you don't have to take my word for this. You can go ahead, look at all the imbalance entries that would have happened, and a lot of the time what will happen is they'll come fill in 50% and you look for the exit after that. Okay, so you look for your entry after the 50%. Don't even know I said exit as well. Today I'm stumbling over my words. So just like so. And where does my stop loss go? So I could keep my stop loss the same, or what I could do, which is what I would have done. Okay, you could have placed it above the wick right here, and this would have been playing it very, very risky, but regardless, you could have entered this. And if it did stop you out, what you could have done is had another entry right here at this institutional candle, because you don't know if it's going to fill in the inefficient price action or not, or if it's going to tap into here. So sometimes I will have 2 entries ready. So you can place the stop loss right here above the wick. What I did though is I actually placed my stop loss above the 10-minute institutional candle right here. So this was what I was looking for, and this was my entry right here. So this right here is a beautiful 50 RR type setup. Now bear in mind, these aren't trades that you're going to get all of the time, but when you do, these type of trades pay, and they pay very, very well for the month. That whole week actually was a very, very bad week for me. Not in the sense that I lost a crazy amount, but pretty much all the trades that I was getting into, I was just losing 0.5%, 0.5%, 0.5%. But of course, I trusted the process, and when you're able to spot something like this, this literally makes up, okay, all of the losses that you would have ever made for that week or even for that month with a trade as beautiful as this, and puts you ahead. It really, really does put you ahead. So this was a beautiful, beautiful trade that I was able to capitalize on right here. And that was a 50% imbalance trade. It's as simple as that. So the main point of this, okay, the aim is to go onto the lower time frame, try to spot the lower time frame 1 minute institutional candles and the 1 minute inefficiencies. And what you want to make sure is that you get the direction on the higher time frame correct and the entries on the lower time frame. And that is it's really as simple as that. And I think at this point it's very, very easy to see what the direction for something like GBPUSD is. So the hardest part about things now is to make sure that you don't get manipulated, which is very, very important. You understand how the smart money moves in the market, and just getting into those beautiful entries such as the one that I showed you here. So that is pretty much it for this video. I appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Have a good one. Bye bye.